Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. I had in my mind, well, Trudy, who is Gaga for gluing and Gaga Toots, asked me about my faux stamps that I can't remember what I showed them on now, but I used to make loads of faux stamps and I have done a video on it, but I can't find it. I can't find the video that I did. I have problems looking back at my own videos. They don't seem to be there, although if you look from somebody else's account you should be able to see all my videos, but even when I've done that I can't find the video that I'm looking for. But either way, I thought I would come on. If you've seen it before, you know, you don't need to watch again, but if you're new and you'd like to know how to make my faux stamps, then I thought I will show you several different ways of doing it so that you can use what you've got. So the first thing I'm going to do is what I would normally do, which is how I've set it up for me. Now, I've spent ages sorting out some digital paper, which I have made with the butterflies in the right kind of places, and I've also got like a monetary thing on there as well. So that's you know, I did this ages ago. These butterfly images and the background and everything, they're all free to use images. So I'm not 100% sure about the font. So, you know, if you're ever selling stuff, you have to be really careful about what fonts you use and things like that. So it's, you know, I'm not selling anything, so it doesn't matter to me. Everything I do is for personal use. But I'm just saying, if you do use fonts for things, you need to be careful about what you use. Also, I've got there's a load of things on the background, and I think they're all public domain, or a lot of the things I've got are like Photoshop brushes. Well, I don't use Photoshop, but you can still use the brushes and things that people make. Now, the easiest way to make stamps is if you have a scallop. Well, I'd love a scallop punch, which I don't have. But if you've got a scallop die, which I have got, I've got nesting dies up to a large size, but I only really want these, which are just slightly wider than 1 inch by 1 inch. Okay, so this is what I use if I'm making them, because you can cut them out. The only thing is it's really, really tedious, especially if you're just wanting these. You put your die through once to get one, and again to get another, and again to get another, and it takes forever. And I just had a thought, actually, Kaj, if you're listening, I don't know whether or not you could set up your Cricut to cut out something like that. I don't know if it can cut in wiggly lines and things, but if it could, I'd definitely be interested in buying sheets of or, you know, these things, if you could do that, because I hate having to cut them out individually, but I love the look of them. So yeah, so if I'd got a punch that would do it, I keep looking for one which is just slightly larger than 1 inch, but I haven't got one. But not to worry, we're not gonna let that phase us. So I've got these. I'd already luckily got these print. When I do a load and I sit and watch videos and just chop out a ton of them, when I've got more than I need, I keep them with my faux stamps, and luckily I'd got some. I didn't have to start from scratch. So all I'm doing is putting this is a 1 inch stamp, and they're really hard to come by now. I don't know why. So you don't have to do 1 inch, you could do whatever you like, but all I do is line it up so it looks like a fairly decent sort of stamp, and I cut some out. And I've set this up in a grid so that you know, I should be able to use all of these if I don't get that stuck in there. So I've just done those, but I should be able to get this one here as well without too much waste. That was the whole point anyway, if you get my drift. So that's all I'm doing. I'm cutting out. But, you know, you could use anything you like to do yours. You could make your own digital paper. You could use scrapbook paper. And I'll show you some of the things that I'm going to do in a minute. I won't do tons of these because I'm just going to give you an idea. So this is my preferred way, and I've got a mushroom sheet. I've got butterflies in pastel colours as well. And it's digital. I might go more into digital art because I do really enjoy it when I get into it. It's very, very time consuming, and there isn't much to show for it, if you see what I mean. I could spend a couple of days creating that sheet, and then you know, maybe I could sell things. Who knows? I haven't really investigated that as an option yet, but you know, it takes me a long time to create something. And I was doing a lot of I was doing a lot of journals and things like that. I haven't done any of those for ages. Kiss of Death, not since I said I would make somebody one, and I just can't bring myself to do it, and because I can't do that, I have literally just stopped making journals, which is silly. I should just get back into it and then make them a journal. Anyway, that's by the by. So I'm just going around with some, well, I say frayed burlap, it is frayed burlap, but I think I have got the wrong doobrey on the end, whatever that's called, sponge thing. I think I have got Vintage Photo, which then lays open the fact that I have no idea where the frayed burlap one is because it's in the wrong slot then. So anyway, not to worry. So that's what I've done for those. These ones are easy. Once you've got everything set up, they don't take a minute. Let's leave that out because I think I might use that. We then need some glue. Now my preferred glue, I wonder if I can use that one. Let's see. Depends what the flow rate is like, because this one's okay, but it can be a bit slow. So I'm just going to put some glue on the back of the stamp. You could use Pritt stick. I don't know why I don't use glue stick very often. I always find that it doesn't stick. It sticks for a minute, and then when you turn your back, it kind of stops sticking. So I don't tend to use it for many things. That's Yoo-hoo in a small thing. So I'm just going to line that up, and it doesn't quite, you can't see the stitching on here, but it doesn't really matter. Okay, so that's one. I'll just do a few of them to show you, and then we'll move on to a different type. And I haven't finished because I will put something, we'll decorate them all in a similar way probably at the end. So apologies for the slowness, because this glue, it's great for intricate things, but my other one, my big glue, it needs refilling, and we probably have to wait half an hour for the glue to start flowing, and then once it flows it doesn't stop, and so you just get glue going everywhere. Anyway, I'll make a few of these just to show you. You don't have to do vintage style ones. I like doing them with like a white background, and you can use, you know, anything you like. I've used some, I've forgotten how, I think it was for Tracy Janine, but I think I made some little stamps from a digital kit that I bought of, it's like little dolly paper, little paper doll sort of things, and I just shrank the images down to 1 inch by 1 inch and then use those. So you literally can use anything you like. I just thought of another thing we could do. Perhaps I'll have a go at that as well. Depends what sort of time we've got. But as you know, I've not been feeling great, and what do I really love? What gives me lots of pleasure? Postage stamps. So I think that's what I'm going to do. Right, I don't know how many I've done, but that'll do. So we've got 6 sort of vintage-ish butterfly stamps there, so they will do. And I'll move that out. So something else we could do, if you don't have access to a punch, we could use images. Now, what images shall I use for that? Let's use some of these, she says. Now I might cut some more out actually. Let me just cut some more to show you what else we can do, because I want to use those for something else. So we could just cut out, let's just do a few. So there's one. Out you come. Those two are a bit close together, so it might be that I might not get them both. That's that one. And I've cut half a butterfly's wing off there by the looks of it. No, that will do. So there's 3 of those. But again, you can use any image that you want. I'm just using this. All right, very quickly. Now I'm going to use some scrap white card. And you have to bear with me because I forgot to bring something over with me. Have a quick look at those while I'll be right back. And my microphone. Okay, so if we didn't have a punch, we could get our squares, and again, if you haven't got a 1-inch square, you use whatever you could do. I guess you could do circles if you feel happy cutting circles. And you know what I'm like with fussy cutting, so give yourself some space all around it. I'm just using some scrap white card for this because that was in my scrap box and the first thing that I pulled my hand out. But you could use you know, literally you could use scrapbook paper or something like that. So this time, if I don't have the scallop punch, I'm going to use fancy scissors. So let's just pop that there. Now let's have a look and see what we've got. Probably, I mean, there's loads. I've got loads of different but similar, and in fact, I've got a load more. That there's just I don't know what to use. I think I'm going to use these ones because these ones have got a pattern, but they definitely don't have a regular type pattern, so I'm not going to worry about it. And then I'm just going to leave a bit of a gap, and I'm going to try and that might be too much of a gap, but I'm going to try and give a border all the way around the outside. I am hopeless at doing this. This is why I do. I tend to use the scallop punch because I get disheartened doing this. But I'm just showing you options. So there's those. Okay. I'm just going to try again. I'm going to try and do it a little bit closer. In fact, I'm going to try and almost touch the edge of the stamp. Like that. God, if there's one thing I hate more than regular scissors, it's these ones. Okay, see, I just don't like it. Personally, to me, it doesn't line up very well. I'm sure you can do better than me. Where's my, let's try those. Maybe we'll be better off with something with a bit more of a regular pattern on it, like that. Yes. But you could spend more time doing them and make them look a little bit neater than mine. I just don't like cutting things. All right, that's a little bit better, but you get the idea. If you want to make them look a bit more vintage, you could just go around the outside like that. Okay, I think I don't do a very good job of these, but I think that other people would do a better job. It's just me. I'm not good at cutting things, and I don't know, I have a warped sense of how bad they look, maybe. So, right, let's get these little bits out of the way. Keep that bit, because I could reuse that for something. But that's an alternative to using a scallop punch, using fancy scissors instead. Right, the next thing I'm going to do is going to do two things, I think. I'm trying to decide what to do next. Let's stick on the vintage route. Okay, so now I've got some little pieces of ephemera. Now these things I have picked up from, I don't know what that's from. I think it might be a paper or something like that, but these I've printed out. When I was doing lots of journals and things, I was using different size images. These should all be public domain images, and Bradley cut out public domain images, maybe. Just going to trim a bit of that off because I don't like it. These are not cut straight, they're a bit wonky, so I'm not going to worry about that, because when you see what we do with them, yeah, I'm not going to worry about that. I'm just going to go around the outside. I'm vintaging them up a bit. But yeah, I used to have a load. This is all I've got left. I haven't printed anything out for ages, but when I was doing more journals and things, I had loads of these, so I've just used up what I've got. I should really print some more out, and perhaps I will. So these are just public domain images that I've printed out, got to the right sort of size. This I think is a paper of some kind, but I'm just going to use it because it looks like some of the fancy stamps that you get from Australia and America and places like that. So what are we going to do with these? Instead of putting them, they're all irregular shapes as well, so I'm going to use some book paper, and I'm just going to stick them on there with a margin around. Oh, I'm not sure I can wait for this. Come on, patience, patience. That's too big an area. It's going to, do you know what, I'm going to get the old glue stick if I can find it. No, I'm not. I'm going for the best stuff, the beacon. There we go. Right, so just looking for where I can put. I think I'll put it on this side here. It's not the best, but it's a children's book and it's not the best. I'm just going to stick it on there for now. I'm trying to look about what's going on around it. I'm just going to do a couple of these. But again, you can source your own images or use something that you've got, or some stickers, or anything you like, really. I don't really want the text always to line up. That's the other thing. Let's put that down there for a minute. Let's have the puffin. Stick it this way around so we've got things. Right, that will do for now, but you get the idea. You can choose your own images, and I'm putting them on book paper. I think the book paper, if it wasn't quite so, this font wasn't quite so large, it would be better. Now I'm using my jagged ruler that I made, and giving myself a jagged edge around. Maybe I can do both of those together. And if you didn't have one of those, you could use your fancy scissors. I'm trying to kill two birds with one stone there. Oh, actually that's perhaps a little bit too much. That's going to be difficult to rip off. Other thing you could do is wet a paintbrush, and might have to do that with that bit. But you could wet the paper and use that. So that would work as well. So you could just put some book paper underneath. I guess you could do it with any paper, but that's a different way of doing a faux stamp. Just trying to show you different alternatives if you don't have the same kit as me. And I mean, I love that. I nearly bought another one, and I wish I had it done now. Of the, it just seemed a bit wasteful to buy a whole nesting stamp, not stamp, die set, when I only really want that one stamp. Oh, die, what's wrong with me? Okay, so let's just do this one for completion. I'm being a bit wasteful here, but you could be more abstemious with your book page. Anyway, you get the idea. There we go. So we've got 3 of those. I'm going to take those out of the way in case I decide to use them later. Right. Shouldn't really get rid of these bits. These bits that have got like old paper and things, they're great for stamping things on so that it's not so white if you're doing like vintage things. I do try and keep hold of those usually. Right, so I've got a different way there. Now I'm going to do something completely different. I've made my own bluey paper just from watercolour paper. I have used distress inks in some colours, some blues, salty ocean, tumbled glass, something pistachio, and then I have used some magicals. So I used the Sassy Sapphire Magical just on the top, and then afterwards I've put a tiny, I don't know if you can see it, a tiny splattering of silver acrylic paint. So that's what's on there, because I'm trying to make a watery background. And then I found, when I was digging around, some lovely wooden stamps. Now I'm not very good with wooden stamps, so I'll probably make a mess of these, but I tried to go in a kind of a fish type, under the sea type theme. Now I don't know what I'm going to do about the colours. I might have to use distress ink, because I'm just looking at that. I don't know how well that will come out. Let's grab us something. I haven't really got something I could do with. I haven't got any ink pads that are not distress inks really. I had some little ones a long time ago, very, very cheap from somewhere, and they've dried up, but I have not replaced them. So I'm going to just stamp myself something there. These are not going to be the greatest. We'll do a couple of crabs, I think. I'm going to give myself some space because I don't know how big I'm going to do them. Some might be bigger than others. What else do we have? I've got a nice seahorse here. Why is the thing I'm looking for never? There we are. Closest to hand. I'm going to try a purpley one, Wilted Violet. I don't know whether or not the oxides would be better than just the inks. Oh, he's not too bad. Or she, I should say. Maybe we could just do them in black. That was my other thing. That crab was a solid one, but these are outline ones, so I might be able to just do that in black and colour it in. The fish is a solidy one. Really would like silver. I'm trying to think what I've got that is silver. Don't have a silver, I have a gold. Maybe I could use a gold. Try a couple of things. Let's do that in black. Oh, I like that. Might just do another one of those. Let's have you down here. Right, so that dry. Let's go around the corner a bit. I wish I'd got a silver one of these. Actually, I've obviously used something that's silver on there, but I don't know what it was. Can't remember. It's a long time since I've used these. And I just happened to see them and think, oh, I'll not use that again. That has not done anything for me. Let's try black. See if that's any better. A little bit. I mean, they're not exactly, but I'm just trying to show you, you can do literally what you like. Use your own stamps, mini stamps, use big stamps, use what you like. But don't put gold on top of blue, it doesn't work very well. Now, I thought I had another little stamp just here. Maybe I've used it. Perhaps that's all I got out. Sure, there was another one. Okay, well, I'm not going to worry about that. Anyway, I've done a few. I really like the seahorse and I would really like to colour that in, I think. But you could also put background things on. So I could have put something down like another stamp, she says, looking desperately around for something. Like this. Let me get a different black. I'm going to use my Memento ink because that is quite dry and I don't want too much ink. But you could have like a background. Let's try that. And we could have something bright red. Let's see if this wants to. I don't think that's going to print out. It might. I think it would be better with an oxide, not a barn door. Let's try that. But you can make it, what I'm trying to say is you can make up your own little stamp collage if you wish. Something like that. And then it's a matter of cutting it out again. You can cut it out with a punch, which is probably what I would do because I hate cutting things. But you just find where you want to put your put your punch and punch away. Something like that. I don't think they do fit in a stamp. Not perfect. Those will not. And I didn't really like the crab, but I'll have a bit of that. Whoops, maybe we can do something with him. And this one of these, probably should get my paper trimmer, which I will do. Bear with me. Right. No, not particularly straight. I can't even cut straight with a paper trimmer. That's me. Now I might, with this, instead of putting a vintage colour on there, I might just go around the edge with some of the Salty Ocean. My Salty Ocean is very juicy. I don't tend to put any on here. I just use it. It seems to stay on the sponge forever. So basically now I'm just making my own like background, like a mixed media type. Oh, I didn't do those, but a mixed media type stamp. But you can do, well, I could have heat embossed that. That would have been nice, especially with my new Wow powders. So I mean, there's options. You can do what you like, and now you have to decide what you're going to do about that. Are you going to put it on book paper and rip it around the outside? Are you going to stick it on here? You could just stick it on and have a straight edge. There's nothing wrong with that. You don't have to have like the perforated edge on it at all. Perhaps we'll do that with that one. We'll have one with a straight edge. And it really does depend what your preference is. So I'll cut that in a minute. Or I'm going to do this one, whoops, with a crinkly edge, which I'll probably hate, but give myself, you have to give yourself a bit of room to cut around it. That's all. It feels a bit wasteful doing that, but, and these obviously, because they're inch, you could just use your scallop one if you've got it. So I'll do that just for completion. If anybody knows where I can get a scallop punch which is just slightly larger than 1 inch, do let me know. I'd love that. I'd be able to make stamps all day long. Because what stops me is the die cutting. Right, I'm just going to wing this so it's not going to be terribly straight, but it would do. And goes to this one, I'm going to use, what one of those did I not like? This one wasn't so bad. Oh, something has occurred. Don't like that. They were misaligned then. I'm going to have to go in and line that up. I don't know what's going on, but my scissors, I've got metal on metal. It's not great. These things are ancient and probably very cheap as well. There we go. So not perfect, but I can live with that. So there we've got different types of stamps and different things going on. I'm just going to pop those on there, and then I'll do one last stage to show you what you can do. Now you can, if you've got tiny, what do you call them, like little, I've got a wooden set of little wooden stamps, but they've got letters on, not numbers. But if you'd got numbers, you could add your own if you wanted to. Oh, can't even stick straight now. You could add your like 25p, or I don't know what stamps. I mean, a stamp hasn't cost 25p here, probably in my living memory, but you know, I've done like 3p stamps and things, and You could, you know, you could put your own spin on it. Right, I'm just going to do that one. And then I'm going to get my post. Now I've got a new postage cancellation stamp, which I think I will use just to trial it. But I've got plenty of other ones as well. And they're all French, I think. I've got some that say Eiffel Tower and some that say Lyon, I think. Right, I want a piece of scrap paper. I'm going to use this that I have used before. Well, I haven't done you. And I need to find my new stamp now. It says Paris and that says Lyon there. Let's have a stab at that one. But again, if you don't have one, you could use anything. You could use something with a little bit of script, or, you know, you don't have to do this. This is just me playing postmistress. I don't know where my little block is, so I'm going to have to use that one. And again, I'm not using my juicy VersaFine one. I'm just going to have a go with the... Woohoo! Sorry. With the Memento, because it's not too juicy. We could always stamp it somewhere and then stamp. And then all you got to do is stamp somewhere on it. And I try and do it so it's like half on and it goes across the white bit as well. So something like that. And it just elevates it, I think, and makes it look like it's been in the post. Oops. Oh, it didn't go on there. I think that was a bit thick, that paper, but... I reckon I could spend all day doing this. This was such a good idea. I'm glad I've done this because I just like, I don't know, things to do with postage stamps. Right. And I've got, I've got a Photoshop brush. So I try not to do the butterfly, but sometimes you know, you have to. And sometimes it feels like you're ruining it, but on the other, you know, that's what the stamps look like when you get them, because they've been cancelled with a stamp. They did in the olden days. Now they just put a biro through it. But there you go. Oh, I can't stop now. I'm addicted to doing this. So I could show you what could we use if we didn't have a stamp like this. If I could stop for 5 seconds and have a think, I'd show you. I can't. I really should have been a postmistress, I think. You could see me just stamping stamps. Right, I've got to stop. Stop stamping, Steph. Stop it. Stop now. Last one. Oh, I love that. I do. I really, really love that. I know it's pathetic. I know. Right. I could use a different one on there, you see. I mean, there's loads of... I mean, this has got such a cool things on it. Let me just look in here because... Where's my other one? It's usually right at the front because it gets used a lot, but I'm thinking it might even be out on my desk. Why can't I find it? Oh, it is right at the very front. Of course it is. All right, here's my other one that has other things. I could use the old 3 lines. Let me just stick that on there. But like I said, you could use anything. Use a little bit of script or something. You don't have to do... Just looking at that, I'm thinking it was looking a bit just a bit bland there. But you could use anything, you know. I'm trying not to use those. That's all I can see. I appear to be obsessed with them. Let's have a look for, I'm just looking for something with a bit of script on it. Here we are. Another Old Faithful. So this is just a script stamp. And you could just stick something like that on there. Sorry, I rushed that a bit. And on this one, if you wanted to. Anything you like. Oh, I think I've done virtually everything now. There we go. It looks like it's been through the post, in my eyes anyway. Well, I hope that was helpful. Let's have a quick look and a quick recap at what we've done. So my preferred method is to use one of the papers I've made myself or something like that. But you could use any image, anything small really, or some, you know, or whatever you like. It's up to you. You could add extra. If my image, I've already put in bits of text in the background, but you could stamp your own on a piece of scrapbook paper, whatever you like. Then I've got my scallop punch and an inch, slightly bigger than an inch, and I cut out my inch and stick them together and use one of my post cancellation stamps on there. So that's my preferred method. Then we have got, I don't know which order I did these in, but then we've got like vintage tile, and they don't have to be vintage, but I think they lend themselves to it because if you're just ripping paper around the outside, but you know, you do it your way, do what you want. But if you're ripping stuff around the outside, they kind of lend themselves to a more vintage look. So that's just a piece, an image, cut out, inked around, stuck on some book paper and then torn around the outside. So that's second style. And then I made my own paper, tight ones, with a background, and I've stamped images with tiny stamps. And this one's just cut square around it, which I quite like. This one's got the kind of fancy scissors on, and I've lost some more, but there were others with fancy scissors. These ones, again, just tailor them to what kind of thing you like. And once you start putting these sort of stamp things on them, it really kind of transforms them into a postage stamp type thing. You know, even just a crab on a bit of, you know, mixed media paper, it still looks like a stamp. So yeah, I think that's it. And if you don't have all the things, make it up. See what you can, you create. This is just a picture on some book paper, ripped around with a script stamp stamped over the top. If you wanted to write on it, you could write, whatever you like. What does stamps in old money? How about 3? I'm going to do 3D, but I don't know whether that was a capital D or a little d. No idea. So we'll have P. Before my time, that was. So you could write on them yourself. Anything you like. Anyway, those are my faux postage stamps, and that has given me a lot of pleasure. If you're still with me, congratulations. Give yourself a shiny, because, I imagine this has been quite long-winded, but I've had a lot of fun. So thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed my postage stamps, faux postage stamps. Have a go at making your own. Be nice to see them, and take care. Have fun. Look after each other, and stay safe. And I will be back soon, hopefully. Bye for now.